I welcome you again to our Management Science course. I expect Library and Information Science students year 2 to attend this online course. As by way of introduction, we have cleared topic number 1, the introductory topic. We have looked at topic number 2, which is planning. We have also seen topic number 3, organizing, and we've also cleared topic number 4, which is staffing. Now, this topic number 5 is directing. After you have planned, after you have organized, and after you have brought in members of staff into your organization, the next thing that you have to do is to direct them on what they're supposed to do. So that is why this topic of directing is important. Let us now look at the meaning of directing. Now, directing refers to taking a decision to initiate action. The decision that you take to initiate action is converted into orders for that action to begin. That's what we normally do as directors, as managers. Remember, in topic number 3, which is organizing, we create a system of coordinated actions. We also create a system of coordinated activities. In other words, our actions must be coordinated, our activities must be coordinated. Now, these coordinated actions and activities focus on those actions and those activities done by individuals within the organization, done by the various employees. Now, these actions and activities done by those people, by individuals, by groups of employees within our organization are very important for the attainment of the organizational goals. Directing, therefore, includes some of the following activities, one of them being ensuring effective leadership, which involves influencing people you are directing to ensure that they do what you direct them to do. It also involves ensuring effective motivation of workers, whereby satisfaction and contentment felt by these people you are directing is quite important. It also involves effective communication, which involves clarifying the directives before they are communicated. It's important that you consult your colleagues to get their support before you issue out these directives, before you communicate these directives out to various workers. You must ensure that work packages are well scheduled. In other words, you need to have good knowledge of the managerial transformation process, as we looked at it in our topic number 1, where a logical workflow and a logical scheduling of work are quite important. We must also ensure that there is a conducive work climate. As we noted in our topic number 1, one of the goals of management is to ensure a conducive work environment. Also, we must ensure that discipline is maintained as we do work. As I've always been saying, you need to ensure that you do what you have been directed to do, and if you don't do it, it implies that you are indisciplined, and this normally injures the smooth running of the organization. It injures the smooth workflow in that organization. Leadership, motivation, and communication, therefore, constitute the main 3 subtopics that we study in this topic of directing. Now, let us look at the subtopic of leadership. You know that all managers at whatever level exercise leadership over those they direct. There are very many definitions relating to leadership. Some scholars argue that consensus on a common definition of leadership is quite unlikely. But from the various definitions that you may come across, you will tend to note that leadership involves the art and the process of influencing people. These people are influenced to work willingly to achieve common goals, and working willingly implies that directives have been communicated effectively by the manager and that the employee is motivated. And so it is the leader who is responsible for guiding employees on what should be done. It is the leader who is responsible for motivating these employees. And so the leaders in doing this should also place emphasis on social interactions and social relationships. Remember when we discussed schools of management in our topic number 1, the social systems school, you noted, was arguing that satisfying the social needs of employees is important. This is very important for the productivity of an individual and also for the productivity of a group of individuals who may be working on a particular task. Remember also Elton Mayo noted that an organization was a kind of social system. Therefore, social and psychological satisfaction of employees was important. Therefore, leadership as a process should basically place emphasis on social interaction among employees and social relationships between these employees. So leaders within an organization are responsible for influencing employees towards a certain direction. And if you are able to influence these employees, if you are able to influence their thoughts positively towards a desired goal, then you are considered a good leader. In other words, a leader is someone who is able to influence people positively, and the leader must be able to mobilize these people and guide them towards a desired goal. So the leader must possess desirable characteristics, the leader must possess the desired knowledge, and the leader must possess the skills which are desirable in order for you to become an effective leader. Now let us look at the various theories of leadership. There are quite a number of theories of leadership, and these include some of the theories that we're going to look at here. There is the behavioral theory of leadership, which involves the personal traits of the leader in question. These personal traits play an important role in this theory. There is also what we call the charismatic leadership theory. This is where the leader's charisma plays a role, the leader's exceptional qualities. Here, those qualities, exceptional qualities of a leader, play an important role. There is also what we call the contingency theory of leadership. This one argues that effective leadership depends on how the leader is able to combine leadership qualities that leader possesses with the leadership skills the leader has. So this is basically the contingency theory of leadership, that the leader's qualities are contingent to the leader's skills. That's basically the contingency theory of leadership. There is also what we call the great man theory of leadership. This one believes that some people are born to be leaders. I want you to read more about these theories and come to understand them better. There is also what we call the situational theory, whereby the leadership style that a leader picks on depends basically on the prevailing situation and prevailing circumstances. That's where we talk about the situational theory of leadership. There is also the transactional theory of leadership. This transactional theory involves issues relating to rewarding employees based on their performance. Actually, when you transact business with an employee, you look at the employee's performance and then reward that employee according to what the employee has performed. So we reward employees based on their performance on various tasks and on various activities. There is also the transformational theory of leadership. This one argues that a leader is considered effective if that leader can effectively transform the perceptions of the followers or the employees, the behavior of the employees, and their expectations. So if you are somebody who can effectively transform the perceptions of your employees, you can effectively transform the behavior of your employees and can effectively transform their expectations, then you are expected, according to this theory, you are considered a good leader. I basically want you to study these theories from various authoritative sources of information to improve your understanding of leadership theories. Now let us look at leadership styles. The impact of leadership on performance of an individual, or the impact of leadership on the performance of a group of individuals, is critical in an organization. Managers should therefore carefully pick various leadership styles that they intend to use on employees. Leadership styles are also referred to as management styles. So the manager should carefully pick the management style that that manager is going to use to manage employees. A leadership style or a management style that a leader takes on is translated into the attitude that leader, holds towards the members of staff, the attitude the leader holds towards those who do various activities within the organization. That attitude is related to the leadership style that the manager has taken on. Also, the behavior that the leader exhibits towards the subordinates, towards the employees, towards the followers, also depends on the style of leadership that manager has taken on. Now, the leadership style that you apply as a leader or as a manager is basically aimed at motivating employees. It is aimed at driving these employees to accomplish the desired goals of the organization. However, to develop effective leadership skills, you need some good experience. That's why it's always good to have some experience so that you develop management experience. Experience in management is quite important. Now, many of the leadership styles that we study are basically based on two major factors. One of the factors is the way the leader is people-centered. The second factor is the way that leader is task-centered. If you remember, managers or leaders in the classical scientific school were so much task-centered leaders, looking at the task as the most important compared to the people who were supposed to be doing that task. They didn't consider the social and psychological needs of these employees. They were so much concerned about the task that these employees were supposed to do. They basically looked at these employees as people who could be used as tools or machines. However, that's why many of these classical scientific schools were dominated by autocratic leaders and also charismatic leaders. Autocratic leaders are basically task-centered leaders. Now, this was unlike the managers in the neoclassical schools, who in contrast were more concerned about the individuals doing the various tasks and activities, and therefore these managers in the neoclassical schools were more people-centered, and they cared more about human factors like social needs, like psychological needs of employees who were working on particular tasks. These, they noted, were important for productivity, not only of the individual, but also of a group of individuals. So organizations managed by those who believe in the ideas of the neoclassical theorists are dominated by managers who take on the people-centered approach towards management. They take on the people-centered management styles, unlike those managers who believed in the scientific school of management. Now, some of the most common leadership styles include the autocratic leadership style, where leaders who apply this style most commonly do not involve employees in decision making. They put the task first, but not the people first. The other most common leadership style is the so-called charismatic leadership style, and this one is common where leaders who articulate a desirable future want the employees to work towards that desirable future, and they inspire these employees to work earnestly towards achieving or realizing such a bright future. Employees normally sacrifice their self-interests, they sacrifice their personal interests, and devote exceptional energy to the causes articulated by the charismatic leader. The other most common leadership style is the democratic leadership style. This one is chiefly a people-centered style. The leader puts the people first, but not the task first. The leader basically believes in teamwork. The leader believes in consensus and believes in participatory decision making. So the employees must participate in decision making. The employees are allowed to participate in decision making. There is also this leadership style known as laissez-faire leadership style. This leadership style, here the leader is almost invisible and basically allows employees to take decisions on crucial matters, and the employees are free to do what they think is good and beneficial for the organization. So colleagues, I want you to read about these various management styles, or call them leadership styles, from authoritative information sources, and study more about them to improve your knowledge of leadership styles, or what we sometimes call management styles. Now here, let us look at other types of leadership styles. We have what we call the affiliative leadership style. The affiliative leadership style normally implies that the leader promotes harmony among employees, and this style has more to do with conflict resolution than anything else. This is quite good for team building. Each employee feels connected to the other employee as though they were affiliates, as though they were associates or colleagues or partners. The leader is quite concerned about the personal welfare of the employees. All leaders who apply this affiliative leadership style. There is also the bureaucratic participative style. This style basically depends on a leader who cherishes the advantages provided by bureaucracy and combines them with participatory decision making, where employees are allowed to participate in making decisions, although it is the leader who finally has the say. It is the leader who has the final say, but the bureaucratic participative style is also applied by some leaders. There is also the 5-level leadership style. The 5-level leadership style is where the leader builds enduring organizational greatness through a combination of personal humility and professional will. There are some leaders who have built their organizations to become great, and they do this by combining humility with professional will. That is basically the 5-level leadership style. There is also another style known as the Lean Six Sigma, the Lean Six Sigma leadership style. This is where we apply the principles of Six Sigma as the foundation. The Six Sigma principles are the foundation of the Lean Six Sigma leadership style. Here, several leadership characteristics are believed to be conducive to organizational success. Of course, the most important characteristic is leading by example and ability to clearly define roles and responsibilities of employees under your command. Flexibility of the leader and consistency of the leader are also desired characteristics. The other style is the servant leadership style. Now, the servant leadership style is where the leader has a strong belief that a leader is out there to serve others and help them to grow. Thus, in this leadership style, power and authority held by the leader shouldn't make people cry or suffer, but should basically empower these people and help them to grow. So all those who apply this servant leadership style must come to know that. There is also what we call the transactional leadership style. The transactional leadership style is based on the transactional theory of leadership, as we looked at it when we are looking at the theories of leadership. Here, the leader normally rewards those employees who have completed and complied with the set goals and objectives of the organization. Therefore, the employees are rewarded when they attain the defined goals and objectives of the organization. There is also the transformational leadership style. The transformational leadership style is basically based on the transformational theory as we looked at it earlier, and here leaders' ability to inspire the employees to meet organizational goals is quite important. And it has been discovered that applying the transformational leadership style improves the creativity of employees. There is also what we call the transcendent leadership style. The transcendent leadership style is that style which is basically grounded in servant leadership, and this is where the leader not only empowers employees but also motivates them and leads them by example. Now, possession of high emotional intelligence is quite desirable in transcendent leadership. There is also the visionary leadership style. Here, a leader applies that style because it is known, or it has been found out that this style, the visionary leadership style, has a positive effect on the performance of employees. The leader normally has the duty to articulate clearly where the group is going, or where the organization is supposed to go, and how members can work to get there. Now, employees are then set free to innovate, to experiment, and take calculated risks in order to get where the organization wants to be. Now, I would encourage you to read more about these leadership styles from various authoritative sources so that you can improve your knowledge on the various leadership styles that we normally apply when we are managing people, when we are managing activities, and when we are managing departments and units where we are placed, or when we are managing an organization in general. Now let us look at the traits and characteristics of an effective leader. An effective leader must be someone who is committed. You must be committed to your goals. You must be committed to the goals of the organization, and you must be persistent in pursuing those goals. You must be someone who is decisive. You must be able to make decisions in good time and stand on your decisions. That's why decisiveness is an important trait of an effective leader. You must be intelligent, and your mental faculties must be working properly. So intelligence and mental ability are other characteristics and traits of an effective leader. You must be ready to absorb interpersonal stress, because much of the work that you may do may be stressful work. Sometimes the employees themselves may stress you. So you must be ready to absorb that stress, basically interpersonal stress. You must be someone who is responsible, and you must be results oriented. Remember, we studied in our topic number 3 that responsibility is the obligation to ensure that the assignment that you are supposed to do is carried out successfully. You are obliged to carry out that assignment, and you are held chiefly responsible for those assignments. So if you're a manager and you have an assignment or relating to attainment of the organizational goals, make sure that you are held responsible for ensuring that these assignments are completed in good time. So we need someone who is responsible. We need someone who is results oriented. Make sure that you get the results, because many organizations are interested in your results. So you must be someone who is oriented towards achieving those results, in addition to being self-confident, and you must be self-assured. We need someone who has social competence. You remember in topic number 1, we noted that the social environment at the workplace provides an opportunity for employees to interact with each other, and this interpersonal interaction normally determines quality and quantity of the work which is being done. Therefore, social competence of each employee, including the manager as the leader, is quite important. You as a manager must have a sense of personal identity. You must be willing to accept consequences of decisions that you make and the actions that are taken in relation to those decisions. So effective leaders always accept the consequences of their decisions, be they bad or good. You must always accept them, and the consequences of whichever actions have been taken in relation to the decisions that you have made, you must be willing to accept those consequences. You also must be willing to tolerate frustration and delay. Sometimes you find that some of the things that we do frustrate us. Sometimes we may issue out directives and the work that is being done delays. You must be willing to tolerate such frustration and such delay, in addition to your ability to being creative and also having good ambition. So those are some of the recent characteristics of effective managers. I want you to read about them and come to understand them better. Now let us look at some important roles of a leader. It is the leader who is supposed to provide guidance to employees on what should be done. So when employees come to you as a leader, please do not chase them away when they come to seek for your guidance. It is the leader who should mold the social character of the institution. At the same time, it is the leader who is supposed to act as a figurehead for the unit, for the department, or sometimes for the organization in general. So you as a leader, you are the figurehead for your department, you are the figurehead for your unit, your section, your branch, and so on and so forth. The leader is also supposed to instill organizational values into the employees. Sometimes your organization may cherish values like calmness, values like fairness, values like honesty, and so on. So it is you, the leader, to instill these organizational values into your subordinates, into your employees. It is again the leader to infuse these employees or the team members with enthusiasm, whereby these team members now become eager to work on what they are supposed to do. They pick interest in the job they are doing, and they have that passion for work. It is the leader who should provide direction to employees on where the organization is moving towards, where the organization is supposed to be, where the organization is going. It is the leaders who are supposed to provide direction to employees or to followers so that they drive the organization into the direction where it aspires to go. The leader should communicate to subordinates. Remember that sometimes we may have employees who simply wait for the communication from the leader, who simply wait for directives from the leader. We shall be looking at motivation, and there is a theory X in motivation, whereby sometimes we have employees who simply wait for directives before they can get anything done. It is the leader who is supposed to resolve conflict among the team members, conflict among employees. Remember, when we are looking at the styles of leadership, we noted the affiliative style. If a leader applies this style, then that style is quite good to resolve conflict among employees, because the affiliative style aims at conflict resolution and promoting harmony among employees. The leader is also supposed to influence employees to achieve organizational goals. I want you to read more about the roles of a leader from various authoritative sources of information relating to management science, and specifically roles of leaders, so that you get a better understanding of some of the most important roles you have to carry out, or to do, or to perform as a leader within your organization.